What's going on, guys? Mickle here, and in this video we are doing a deep dive into the Ripple SEC case, specifically why I believe a settlement is more likely than ever. We just had a massive ruling on DPP documents, and specifically what internal documents at the SEC Ripple was going to receive to help prove their case to the court. In this video, I'm going to show you why these new documents make a settlement more likely than ever, and what we need to be paying attention to going forward. This is massive and has huge implications for the case. Guys, I also want to show you at the end of this video a hilarious tweet by the SEC actually calling XRP a sophisticated blockchain. I don't think you get more hypocritical than the SEC. You guys are definitely going to want to stick around for that. Guys, we are so close to 15,000 subs on this channel. For those of you who aren't subscribed, please consider it. It helps me out so much and really helps this channel grow. Guys, I really hope you enjoy this content, and let's jump right into it. Alrighty guys, like I said in the intro, this video is going to be heavily focused on showing you guys why after this recent DPP decision, a settlement is more probable than ever for both sides of this case. Guys, I'm going to be showing you why I believe once a settlement happens, exchanges will have the clarity to relist XRP and a massive amount of value is going to flow into this ecosystem. I want to start right here, and Stephen Huber tweets out, if Judge Neprin hadn't declared Hinman's speech as personal opinion, Hinman would have been guilty of perjury, the SEC would have been responsible for ETHgate, Ripple would have no access to his emails, Ripple would have no access to ETHgate related documents. Pragmatic, less drama, swifter end. I really agree with what he's saying here. I think it's put very simply and really shows the importance of the judge actually not declaring Hinman's speech as SEC guided, but rather his personal opinion. Stephen Huber then goes out to say that Hinman's speech is considered only opinion is a huge win. Ripple couldn't have had fair notice because his speech was still belonged to the SEC external behavior, which every responsible person interpreted as their official position. This helps arguing lack of fair notice. And what Stephen Huber is saying right here is he's saying that every responsible person, every market participant, all interpreted William Hinman's speech as SEC guided. Now the SEC is coming out and saying, no, every single person got it wrong and we didn't correct anyone. It was not SEC guided, it was just his personal opinion. Well, this proves that Ripple never had any fair notice. They had no idea what was going on in this case because the SEC was out there making confusing statements that the entire market misinterpreted. This just goes to show that when Ripple goes to bring the fair notice argument to the court, it is going to be very clear that the SEC had confused the entire market and Ripple should not be responsible for the confusion the SEC created. There was no standard of a reasonable person expecting that the SEC gave fair clarity because it is very obvious from what is being shown in this case that there was no clarity and the SEC was only confusing the market. I'm going to keep going here and then show you guys this. And how do we know for sure that the SEC had not created any clarity in the market? Well, what about two SEC commissioners coming out and saying there's no clarity in the market? I really don't know how you argue this, and it really just simplifies everything and really just shows how absurd this case is. The SEC is arguing that the regulations are clear, and you literally have high-level commissioners at the SEC coming out and saying, no, it's not clear at all. I don't know how you go into a court case with your own agency turning against you, and it just shows the lack of credibility and the absolute joke of an agency the SEC has really turned into. Now, I'm super excited to show you guys this tweet thread. It's a little hard to read at some points, but you guys just want to bear with this and really focus on what I'm saying here. This is from Stephen Huber, and he said, security trial versus settlement. A thread about why the XRP community is so divided over DPP decision. Thanks to, and this is Crypto Eerie, the scales just fell from my eyes. I don't really know what that means, but let's jump into it. He says, I now understand why many are so disappointed with the judge's decision on DPP and why others were so happy about it. Some of you think Ripple can win the trial. Others, and this includes me, are hoping for a settlement as soon as possible. I've always been in the camp of settlement, but I do know some people wanted Ripple to take this thing the distance and win outright. Crypto Yuri talked about how she had previously believed the SEC didn't want a settlement, but then explained why she believes Ripple was the party which didn't want to settle until now because their position was so strong. She centered her YouTube video yesterday on a conversation with former SEC lawyers talking about how embarrassing it was for the SEC when they lost an easy winning crypto fraud case because of fair notice, the exact thing Ripple is trying to argue right now. However, Ripple only has a strong case for the declaration of the value if Hinman's speech is an official SEC position. This would have allowed Ripple to invoke Ethereum and win the trial hands down. However, now that Hinman's speech is only his personal opinion, the case for Ripple is very unclear and uncertain, which is why Ripple will be able to argue fair notice, because there was no clarity and a lack of certainty in the market. It makes it harder for Ripple to win the case outright, as he pointed out earlier, but it makes it very easy for Ripple to come in and saying, we had no idea what the rules were because you didn't give us any freaking rules to follow. He goes on and says not only would the judge have to make the first and a landmark decision on crypto and securities, now the SEC would also have to appeal this ruling and drag it out all the way to the Supreme Court, which he goes on to say that he does not believe is really probable, but he then says the pressure for Ripple to aim for a safe and fast settlement has increased significantly. Clarity on whether XRP is a security or not, after studying the Tetragon ruling, will not possibly take place from the SEC itself, but either through the Treasury Department or new legislation. A ruling, one way or the other, would be far too risky and uncertainty for Ripple in either direction. So what he's saying right here in this tweet thread is this recent ruling on this speech being William Hinman's personal opinion goes a long way in forcing actually Ripple to settle the case. People have been under the impression the entire time that the reason this case hasn't been settled is actually because of the SEC, but what he's saying is he actually believes it's because of Ripple. It's because Ripple's arguments were so strong prior to this ruling that it was actually in Ripple's best interest just to go all the way out in this case and just absolutely destroy the SEC. Well, just because Ripple's case was slightly weakened does not mean they won't continue to get the clarity they need for XRP and still get a massive win for this case, but it goes to force Ripple to actually maybe shorten the process and settle the case instead. Rather than having the outright evidence to crush the SEC, what they now have is a bunch of different things they're dangling over the SEC's head and say, look, end this case and you won't have to deal with this anymore. Rather than them having a clear win, they now have all the evidence they need to bring the SEC to the table and end this thing once and for all. It really looks like that's the direction we're going in now that we know these recent decisions were William Hinman's personal opinion according to the SEC in the court. We know that it likely was SEC guided, but at this point, like Stephen Hubert tweeted out earlier, this is the most pragmatic, less drama, and the swiftest way to end the case, and I really do believe that this is what this is all centered around. It's also very important, and I thought the end of this tweet thread was really critical in him saying that he does not believe the SEC itself is going to be the one to provide the ultimate clarity for these digital assets, and actually believe it will be through the Treasury Department or new legislation. We can see right here in a different lawsuit Ripple was in, they clearly state determination of whether XRP is a security or not may be made by another government authority. This is super interesting because we can see really right here, Ripple is actually going out of their way to say that it is actually very unlikely that the SEC is going to be the agency that ultimately has to say of what the rules around crypto are. And what is also super funny about this is that the SEC has actually said this themselves in the Ripple SEC case. The SEC said the SEC has explained to Ripple that it does not typically determine whether a particular financial instrument is a security or not. Well, we can see right here, both of these statements by Ripple and the SEC, both are heavily in favor of the fact that the SEC might not actually be the agency that has the ultimate determination of whether XRP is a security or not. The SEC might charge Ripple for some security sales, but that doesn't have to do with whether the underlying instrument of XRP is actually a security or isn't a security. The SEC might get away with a fine for Ripple for saying Ripple sold XRP like it was a security during certain instances, but that does not mean that necessarily the underlying asset is a security, which is XRP, and that's the whole idea of you can sell oranges like a security, but the oranges will never be a security. This is absolutely massive because this is what gets me and you out of this case. This is what makes it so we don't have to worry about our XRP being a security, and whatever other issues Ripple has with the SEC, they can hash that out in court. They can pay some fines. We could care less. Our XRP will be free, and we will be completely removed from this entire thing. We will never have to think about it again. And very interestingly enough, with the backdrop of Ripple saying the SEC won't make the decision, the SEC says it doesn't typically make the decision. Tom Emmer tweets out, new digital currency legislation coming soon. Jeremy Hogan actually tweeted to me and said that if this legislation came, it could have the power to free our XRP from this lawsuit and make a clear distinction of the sales of XRP versus the actual underlying asset, and actually force the SEC to completely drop the part of their case where they say all current XRP is a security. It really looks to me like this is the direction they're going, and the ultimate settlement between Ripple and the SEC will be on whether certain sales were investment contract sales, but it will go forward and make it very clear that the SEC is no longer trying to go forward saying all XRP in the market is a security, because that statement is absurd on its face and actually makes zero sense. The last thing I want to show you guys, and this is one of the funniest things you could see. Back in 2014, we have an Ethereum founder right here saying that one of the reasons Ethereum got a free pass was because they said their token had utility. I tweeted out, wow, starting to make sense why the SEC said in the case XRP lacks utility, because they're trying to create a distinction between XRP and Ethereum, a distinction that they could never make. Unfortunately for the SEC, this statement couldn't be further from the truth. The SEC strategy, lie, 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 hope no one realizes. And right here in the Ripple SEC case, we can see the SEC is saying the sophisticated blockchain technology underlying XRP. So XRP has no utility, but the very blockchain XRP operates on is sophisticated blockchain. You can't get more ironic than that. You can't get more hypocritical. Guys, if you want to do your part in blowing up the SEC's BS case, go to my Twitter, just hit retweet down everything. Let's make sure everyone sees this and understands how absurd this entire thing is. If you're still here right now, make sure you like and subscribe. It really means so much to me. Thank you so much for coming, guys. Hope you enjoy football this week. For now, Mickle out.